Tiferes Avigdor. Yesterday we mentioned the Sefer HaYoshar that tells us how a tzaddik prepares for life on a daily basis by thinking of all negative, bad challenges that could happen to himself. Every time you hear something about somebody else, take it as a message for yourself. Think about the possibilities of what could happen to you. Think about the possibilities that could happen to your guf. Think about the small things. Think about the big things. Think about how people are bound and married to doctors, to hospitals, and so on and so forth. Think about all the things you hear about, the accidents, and you prepare yourself, as he says, if it's not going to happen today, it'll happen tomorrow. If it's not going to happen tomorrow, it'll happen the next day, not the next day, next week, next month. A person should always prepare himself. The purpose of preparing oneself is so that when a person faces a challenge, he does not get discombobbled, and he doesn't act like people naturally act. Naturally, the way they act is they run away from Hashem, they run away from Avodas Hashem, they basically fall off the road, and they fall off the ship, and sometimes they drown in the water. Now, the question that arises in many people's minds based on that is, boy, that's pretty depressing. Do you want me to be depressed? And the answer is, it's not depressing. It's reality. If you were to think of the lives that Avraham Avinu went through, and the challenges in every area of his life that he went through, and we know Ma'isa Abba Simon Labanim. If you imagine you're one of these hopeful people who doesn't like depressing things, so you ignore reality and you imagine that these things do not happen to you, they don't apply to you, nothing bad will ever happen to you. And then when it does, you lose yourself. We explained that hopeful people are definitely better than negative people. But hopeful people have nothing to do with bitachon. People who are negative surely have nothing to do with bitachon or emunah. But people who are hopeful also have no shaykhs to emunah and bitachon. What they have is what is called cognitive dissonance. They choose to ignore reality. They choose to ignore that the world is a nevei hatlois, like Rabbi Natam says. They choose to ignore, and they think by ignoring they can avoid challenges. And there's nothing further from the truth. Bitachon in Hashem is as follows. I understand what could happen today. You look at the lives of the Chavetz Chaim. You look at the lives of many Gedolim. The lives of Briskarov. You look out the challenges they had. Immense challenges. Were they not Bali Bitachon? They were tremendous Bali Bitachon. Now, one of the mistakes that people think is that if you have Bitachon, you're going to be spared challenges. That is absolutely false. What Bitachon does is it empowers you to embrace every challenge. You embrace with all your kaiches every challenge, and you understand this is another opportunity for me to grow by becoming aware that Hashem is with me and that I'm with Hashem. That's the bitachon. Sometimes, as it says in the pasuk, "U'bayteach b'Hashem Yisugav," a person could face a gezerah and he could have bitachon and he could overcome the gezerah and nullify the gezerah. But it doesn't always work like that. The definition of life is in the Nevei HaKloyos. Our others were the biggest Baal bitachon around. Of all of the people in the Torah, who was the symbol from Chazal as the one of the biggest Baal bitachon? Yosef HaTzadik. You think his bitachon, did it get him out of jail? No. Did it keep him from getting accused on a trumped up assault charge? Nope. Did it save him from the enmity of his brothers and being sold by his brothers? No. So somebody would say, well, I guess bitachon doesn't work. That's false. You know why? Because his bitachon worked. Because every one of those things was absolutely necessary to create Yosef. You see, I want to know, it's very important you say. That means if you face a gzeira that is not you, for example, let's say you did something wrong. You did a rishus, and that rishus created a gzeira upon you. You're going to get a patch, and then you have bitachon, and you get close to Hashem, and now you can overcome that gezerah and avoid that gezerah. But what if you're the kind of person who must go through a challenge to develop into what your tafkid is to develop? Yosef HaTzadik, Hashem wanted him to be the greatest leader in the history of the Jewish world. 71 years, not one other leader was like him. He became a leader, and he became not only the longest ruling leader, the most powerful leader of any Jewish leader. No Melech b'Yisrael, not Moshe, not David, no one had the power that Yosef HaTzadik has. The only one the Torah said, you couldn't pick up a hand and a foot. Everyone in the Malchus, everyone in the world became his avodah. There's nobody subjugated everybody to make a legal avodah. He acquired the whole country. He was a powerful person. But in order for him to rule and be zeicher to that rule, and he was a ruler over the Am Yisrael and the Ummah Yisrael. Hashem's plan was him to rule over the Am Yisrael, to guide them. And if he would not have been tested and proven to be a ruler over himself, every single emotion in the most extreme manner, if he wasn't tested in humility, after being challenged by his brothers, and if he was, Hashem orchestrated the sale, and Hashem put him in jail, I'm sure every day he woke up and he said, Hashem, I have been talking that today is my last day. And it wasn't. Know what he said? I guess, Hashem, I still need the avodah of being in jail. But was he not batuach? No. He was batuach. Know what it meant to say batuach? He was with Hashem every day in jail, and Hashem was with him every day in jail. In the Torah it testifies that the warden of the prison saw that Hashem was with him. Is that not marvelous? How does some shagets see that Hashem is with him? Maybe he sees a beanie on his head. That he can see. He sees Hashem is with him. I never heard of people saying that you see Hashem is with him. Is it the prison? Mamish. Unreal. He worked in Tiferes' house. His master, this sheged, this diplomat, this guy had no shaykhs to religion. He was even Avigdor. And what happened? It says, Vayehi Hashem Vayeishev. It's unbelievable. Ein sar beis hasoyer roya es kol mo'uma b'yodoi ba'asher Hashem itoy ba'asher hu oise Hashem atzliach. When I saw that pasuk the first time, I went nuts. I thought to myself, what? I can understand the guy comes into prison and he's Mr. Class. And you can see the guy's shtickles. I got him. The guy who was in prison in Otisville told me there were some guys in there that were very, very wealthy, and they carried themselves a shtickle with, you see the worst in the best of Chashiva people in the prison, he tells me. Very few classy, real classy people. So I'm going to have a classy guy. He's a guy who holds himself above the crowd. He doesn't curse. He doesn't get himself into lowly fights. I can understand the Beis HaSoyer says this guy is a trustworthy guy. He's a good model prisoner, they call him. That's been around. That's not unheard of. But here it says in the Torah, this Sar Beis HaSoyer did not look after Yosef Klum. You know why? Ba'asher Hashem itoy. Because Hashem was with him. Now how would this Shegitz, who was a Sar Beis HaSoyer, know if Hashem was with him? And he also says in the Pasuk, Ba'asher hu oisa Hashem atzliach. Whatever he did, he saw Hashem atzliach. Maybe this guy was a tichtige guy. What's this guy? Some kind of maimon over here? He doesn't believe Keichi Voitzimadi, this Egyptian guy? Teretz is, Yosef lived with Hashem in such a clear, cogent way, in such a mevurdik oifen, that there wasn't any shaila, it was Hashem was with him. There was no way to attribute it to his abilities, to his tichtigkeit, to his class, to his diplomacy. It was all because the Shkatzim saw that Hashem was, they introduced to Hashem through it. Yosef HaTzadik embodied Hashem. He was Koina, the ultimate Kinyan Hadas. The ultimate Kinyan Hadas was when the Chochmah manifests itself in such a physical form that there's nothing else to explain it. You see the Das, you see the Panemius, you see the complete inside being boiled. And they saw Hashem was with him. And a grub guy who never went to yeshiva, who never saw yeshiva, chapter spilus. This Yosef HaTzadik was Yosef HaTzadik because of his tzaras. Had he not had these challenges, he never would have been Yosef HaTzadik. In a jail, for a guy to have Hashem with him in a jail, that's a hard place to have Hashem with you. If you're hopefully going to get out, maybe, but if you're not hopefully going to get out, but if Hashem is with you, that's when you become. Our lives challenges. When a guy says, could I get out of it? Maybe. You know how you can get out of it? If it's a punishment, and it's just for a tikkun, and it's not for you to build yourself. If this is what you need to build yourself, you need to go through two things. You need to go through pain and understand tzaras. You need to understand what it means to be a chayla and to make Hashem with you and to daven and to become close to Hashem. You have to get what you're going to be built is of all your challenges. Fights with your brothers and fights with this and envy and jealousy and being sold into slavery, being accused falsely. This were all the things that built and developed Yosef HaTzadik. And therefore, these were things, with all the bitachon in the world, he could never get out of this. Now sometimes you could have bitachon, maybe you can go through something less. Avram didn't have bitachon. You think Sarah didn't have bitachon? They had bitachon. But Hashem said, the Hemen Hashem, the Achshavel Tzedakah, Hashem considered tzedakah for Avram. Because he trusted, full trust. But the fact of the matter is, he had to wait a long, long time for those things to be fulfilled. And a lot of the promises that Hashem promised Avram never lived to see them, those promises being fulfilled and coming to fruition. They were only seen by the descendants of Avram. Hashem says, Ushmi Havaya Loi Noidati. When I appeared to the others, it was B'Shem Shakai. I gave him my word, and they had to trust me. But they didn't live with that. Did they have bitachon? Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what we have to understand. So we have to acquire that knowledge in our life. Everybody get these calls. If I have bitachon, could I get out of it? I don't know. Somebody told me, could I have kids if I have bitachon? You definitely could have kids if you have bitachon. But if you don't have bitachon, it definitely, I can't say you're not going to have kids, but bitachon definitely is going to help you have kids. And if a person does acts of rachmanis for others, it definitely will help to hurry up that rachmanis from Hashem. No question about it. There was once a fellow, a bacher, who steig dois to be a very, very adam chashiv. And he said over that when he was a bacher, he had a big urida, and he struggled terribly. He was challenged, and he needed chizik. So a friend of him told him, why don't you go to another guy? He told him, they mentioned the name of a Adam Gadol, a famous person. He said, I'm going to go to him. I can't come out. A bacher, he doesn't want to hear from me. He said, sure. Go to him, speak to him. So he said, with my foolish problems and struggles, I'm going to go to that Adam Gadol? And he says, yeah. So he goes to the other Gadol. Goes to the other Gadol. Guy told him, sit down. What do you want? You want a bracha? He said, I want more. I need to talk. I need chizik. He said, sit down. And he tells him over what his problem is. He smiles at him. He says, you see that picture on the wall? It was a picture of another Adam Gadol. Bring the picture. Bring it down. He goes, what's a big picture? The picture. Be careful with it. Bring it. Let's put it on the table. I put it on the table, and he said, start to look at the picture. Look at the picture. Tell me, what's the picture made up of? What's this picture comprised of? So he looks, and he says, a paper, and on it is printed a lot of little black dots in a certain sequence and order, and that creates the picture. He said, dude, let me ask you, what type of paper do you use to make a picture? Could you make it? Could you make a picture on any paper? Yeah. So what determines the quality of the picture? Is it the paper that you make it on? No. What depends is how you place the black dots. The more close together the black dots are, the more quality the picture. The less, say you have an outline, you ever see those things, you get those connected dots, those pictures coming in, connected dots. It's a general picture, not such a quality picture. The smaller the dots, the bigger the dots, the closer they are together, that's my picture. So I want to ask you another shayla, something. You got to have a picture, a paper that could handle dots, right? Without dots, the paper, you have a plastic, you have a certain kind of thing you can't write on, it's not going to work. He said, you know what those black dots represent? What do black dots represent in a picture? He said, these black dots represent the actions, the challenges that all of this gadol had to face. And those black dots are what he had to contend with in his life. And only from those black dots was the picture and the formation of this gadol created. There's no other way of creating a picture other than with black dots. And he said, you should know that every human being, every bocher, is a niyar cholak. As a state novice. Love it says, haloi made yeled, somebody who learns when he's a yeled, lamahu daima, to what is he compared? The niyar cholak, to a clean sheet of paper. No. So he said, I want you to know that challenges are not things to frighten you and are not things to run from. What you want to do whenever you get a challenge is understand you're now putting in another dot on the picture. To form the brain, you have nakudas in the thinking process of a person. In the eyes, the perspective, what a person sees, how a person develops healthy eyes. The ears, does he have healthy ears? You drew a nice mouth, you want to have a tzura of a mouth. The person goes through, and as you go on, you continue putting on these black dots. That's what's great to paint a picture. That's what he said. And to make this picture clearer and more boilet and more something a person will appreciate the beauty of the picture, you have to continue adding black dots. The more black dots that you add, the more the picture will come out. Every nisayon that a person goes through is just that. The nisayon of a person, there are certain nisayonus. For example, let's say a person is challenged with a love of learning. That's a very common challenge. I don't remember many people that I met in my lifetime growing up that had it easy to learn. Now, I tell you the truth, when I was younger, I thought everybody had it easy to learn except me. I was convinced that in my class growing up, I was the most difficult, the greatest challenge to learn. I told my father this many times. I'm not cut out for this. I'm not built for this. I remember I had kids in my class, came from modern homes. They came from different kind of homes. But the Rabbi talked, they listened, they smiled, they asked, Rabbi asked questions, they would raise their hands, answer. And with me, I had cute statements to say. I had nice jokes to make. Got the class to laugh. But really, though I remember when the Rebbe said to say the Gemara or to ask a question, you know what I mean? Have fun for right, that's all. I told my father, I'm telling you, Emes, I said, it's not for me. I had an older brother that was a natural tzaddik. I said, I can't sit, I can't look, I can't focus. I don't understand one word. When I started to learn, and I got, Rosh Yeshiva was considered an Iluyish person, and I became his charus of a second and third Seder. And I used to write that I became mad into learning. And I wrote every word he did. I used to listen to tapes and write every word over in the tapes. And then I would be a chayzer of the shir. When they had a bechinis, I would say over the shir, and Rebbe had such nachas. So one day I told the Rebbe, I don't know one word you're talking about. I don't understand anything. He says, what are you drink a cup? He said, you're the biggest bucket here in the yeshiva, he said. You're the youngest in the shir. You're the youngest thing. I learned you 2 stars. What do you mean? You're tremendous. I said, I don't know, understand. One thing you're saying makes no sense to me. I'm just parroting it over. I don't understand what I'm saying. He said, a cup. He said, who gave you this nonsense? I said, I can't understand what I'm saying. I said, it wasn't that at that point I was willing. I wanted to learn. I had a chavrusa I used to learn with. A guy came from Eretz Yisrael to the yeshiva over there, and I learned with the guy every night till 2 o'clock in the morning. Mamish, he was a brilliant guy. Didn't understand one word he was talking about. The only thing he told me is you have a krumah cup. He always told me every night. He said you have a krumah cup. You don't know how to think straight. Everything you say is verdreht. And I was convinced the guy was right. Bob said, my father, it's not for me. I'm going to remember thousands of words. I couldn't like to learn. I couldn't look at the words. I couldn't like the Rashis, and Tiferes, please. And on and on and on. Until the Vayeishev finally one day said, you keep trying. Someday I'll answer your Tiferes. And one day Hashem sent me a Rabbi. He said, let me teach you how to learn. Let me teach you, it's not that hard. Let me teach you how to understand something. And he started saying, I will tell you Reb Chaim. Reb Chaim. Even my last Rebbe told Reb Chaim, no one understands. He told Reb Brog, forget it, he's off the charts. I don't waste your time. And this Rebbe showed me everything is simple, everything can be understandable, everything's rational. Let me show you the method. And all of a sudden, it's like the heavens opened up for me. So just because learning, some guys maybe have more zitzfleish, even if they don't understand it, but a person has to understand that those black dots, those challenges, all the bitachon in the world ain't going to help you to stop your challenge. You know what bitachon is going to help you? Get through the challenge. Now I understand, whenever I see somebody going through a challenge, I tell them, have bitachon. What's bitachon going to help me? Bitachon will help you understand that Hashem is with you. If you understand that Hashem is with you and you're with Hashem, that Gemara is someday going to shine for you. That Gemara is someday going to sing for you. You think Hashem is not going to give a person who wants to learn a Yediyah and Havan and Gemara? Do you really think so? How can it be possible? Hashem wants me to want to learn. Here's a kid, here's a man who wants to learn. He's got a cup like Holtz. He's AIDS. The other mates has who and his Parsha like Hassan. Tree in a field. No. You think if he wants to learn, Hashem not going to help him? So he gives up. Most people give up. Yom the light give up. Bachrim give up. They run away and they fail. The picture of their life that they're going to hang when he dies, the picture they're going to hang in there, in this guy's, in his family's portrait room is going to look like this. It's going to be a big frame with splotches. A big of paint here, a shtick of paint there, and then someone's going to say, who's that? That's your Zaidi. What happened to him? He had struggles. And then he left. He thought he was going to become rich. And he didn't become rich either. And he was a schlepper deluxe. That's what he was. Zaidi schlepper. So Bobby, why are you putting the picture up for him? You know why? I want you to learn from him. Don't be like him. Fill in your black dots. Make sure you finish the picture. Don't run away. That's what you have to understand. It says that when you look at the challenges, people have challenges with their children. Everybody wants to know, how do I get rid of this challenge? See, sometimes, I tell people, sometimes it's not that bitachon. If you biteach, sometimes Hashem gives you a knock, knocking on your door. And if you open the door, the challenge will go away. But the challenge is, answer the door. And then figure out what they want by the door. Let's say there's a guy banging on your door, mamish, 24 hours a day. Some retarded guy who they paid $5 to deliver this piece of mail. The guy knocks, and finally after a week, you finally say, because who's knocking on my house for a week? You open the door, and you see some retarded guy there, and the guy gives you this little piece of mail that says, it's a 20% sale at Macy's. He said, what are you doing here for? He says, they told me to come knock on the door and deliver it. So I do what I paid for. He said, how much you get paid for this? He said, the guy gave me $5 a week ago. I said, he's still here? Yeah. Now you're going to save yourself all that service, just opening the door, first been taking the piece of mail from the guy. That's what happens to people. People don't understand that when you look at a picture of a Gadol Gadol in your life, next time, this is what you should see. Look at the general picture. Look at that face, the Chavetz Chaim. After that picture, Chavetz Chaim, you know how many times I looked at that face? Times I looked at Reb Chaim's face. Got this big picture last year from you, last year Chanukah. I'm telling you, I love them. I think every time I say a svara, I look at the Briskerov. I said, "You think it'll fly?" I look at my Rabbi in front of me. I said, "Rabbi, and I see my Rabbi's face. Okay. I got. Supposed to start with Reb Chaim, I go to the Briskerov, then I go to my Rabbi. It's a good chakira. Can you say it's a chakira? Does it make sense what I'm talking about? My Rabbi says, "You know better than that." Okay, Nachamol. Let me get Nachamol. You see the big picture of the Reb Chaim, everything he went through in his life, the challenges, Amelus, the Yigiyah, the Briskerov, went through a lot of challenges. My Rebbe went through, became a Yosem at a young age, lost his mother, lost siblings, and he went on. He started without a penny in his life, struggled for years to have children, years, couldn't have children. Doctor told him he's not going to have children. And they go through life. You suffer other tzaras in life. Bitachon doesn't necessarily get. Hashem's not going to stunt your growth if you have bitachon. Hashem's not going to cut your legs off and not let you remain a midget. If you need to have this challenge to develop and fulfill the picture that you're going to have, of course Hashem. I don't want Hashem to take it away from me, but I want Hashem to help me have bitachon so that I can go through this. I want to have bitachon to Hashem that if something I get a patch from Hashem, I should know why I got the patch, so I know how to deal with it. I want to use it positively. Many people call me up and ask me the SHLITA. I don't know where to turn. I don't know why I'm getting this. So I'm going to tell you the first thing. The first step you do is tell yourself, this is the first answer on the question whenever you get a smack. Hashem, I know it's from you. It's for my best. I have no suffix. If all you want to do is just test me and see if I accept that, I'll buy into it. If Hashem, you want me to know more, I'm going to know more. You want me to, it says in the Gemara, you want me to mefashish for myself? I'm going to mefashish for myself. Hashem, help me out. That's what a person has to do. A person has to understand this. And then there's the little picture. When you see the big picture is the end result. When you look at the picture, you see the small little dots. Those small little dots are every pool. I look at Reb Chaim's eyes. The Briskerov looked at that picture. My Rabbi told me at that particular picture, Briskerov looked at, and he said, "Die Augen, these eyes speak volumes." But the main thing, you know what they say is, "Mir gehst du nicht abnachen. Mir not gonna fool." That was Reb Chaim. Reb Chaim was chochem, Reb Chaim was behirus, his clarity, his genius. But look at the little dots. That's how he became like that. And that's what we have to understand, is what's going to build us up. And every one of you is going to go through a Parsha. Maybe with a kid, maybe with a miscarriage, maybe with a stillborn, maybe getting pregnant. And everybody's trying to get brachas. Give me a bracha to get rid of this. Give me a bracha. You're a fool. You'll remain a stunted midget if you don't go through this test. Ask me for a bracha to pass the test. Ask me for a eitzah, how to be mechazik yourself and dealing with it. Parnasa. That's such a common problem. That's part of the bitachon emunah to Hashem. That's how you get connected to Hashem with this. This is what makes it. Liking to learn, of course, that's normal. I want to like to learn. I want to like to learn. Hashem, learning should come easy for me. You're not going to grow with anything. You're not going to develop anything. This is it. These are challenges that everyone in the world goes through, and you become something through these challenges. Yosef Tzaddik was a Baal Bitachon Nifla. He didn't have one day that he looked bad. It's amazing. If you look at the Parsha, at the end of the Parsha, he meets the Sarah Tabachim, Sarah Oifim, and he sees them looking bad. And we're talking about an Egyptian dungeon, not a U.S. prison, not a U.S. little hotel. We're talking about without TVs, a ping pong, and pool tables. No, we're talking about a prison, an Egyptian prison. And the guy's looking down. How come you're looking down today? In prison, you don't ask that kind of question. I mean, you understand, the guy's down because the guy was a sar, and the guy's stuck in this hole here, this Ganem hole, and the guy's not going anywhere. But what's the guy's why he's down? No, yes, that's how I understood that. No, you're with me. If I look down, you should look down. Hashem's with me. You understand, Hashem, when you don't look down? Why your face look a little funny today? I said, I had a bad dream. Oh, a bad dream? I understand. Let me hear it. He tells one guy, you know what? You're right to look down. You're going down. The other guy says, no reason to go down. You're going up. You get out of here. Smile. That's what happened. Now you would think the next day Yosef would go nuts. Hashem, why can't you give me a dream? Hashem, this guy, give me a dream too. Come on. Give me a little break, Hashem. No breaks. Okay, that means I'm still in Avodah. This is Avodah. Everybody still to understand this in our lives. Read these Parshas and think about every sorrow that he had. Like, how did I never lose it? And understand, this doesn't get you depressed. It mechazik your bitachon. Hashem, this life, if you chosen me to be a yid, I will have challenges. And when you see about a big gadol had challenges, you say, oh, how come you have challenges? A big gadol. I thought he's a big bitachon. That's because he's a big gadol. That's why he has the challenges. Because Hashem is developing into a bigger gadol. And Hashem's completing the picture. And even the biggest gedolim in the world have to go through lots and lots and lots and lots of black dots. And that's what develops the Yosef HaTzadik. And that's what develops the Yankev Avinu. That's what develops the Shiftei Ka. And that's what develops us. Kodesh Baruch Hu should help us make it in this world.